Hi, I'm Don, and today I want to get into the 4 pillars of 30+% Klaviyo revenue and how by focusing on these 4 things of deliverability, of your opt-in rate, of your frequency, and of your range, you will achieve literally a third of your brand's income coming from emails. So why listen to me? Honestly, you don't have to, but in the past 2 years, I have generated over $7 million in email revenue with the strategies that I'm about to discuss. It works for bigger brands, it works for smaller brands, and anything in between. And frankly, regardless of brand size, it's always just going to be these 4 things that really form like the basis of your entire email marketing strategy. Okay, so before we start on the fancy optimizations, you just want to focus on the basics first. So the Pareto principle, where 80% of your results come from 20% of the effort, it is going to be with these 4 things. And when you've audited dozens and dozens of accounts, you start to realize that the accounts that are already doing well have these 4 principles in place. And the accounts that aren't, basically if we tweak or if we improve on one of these specific metrics, that's when you start to see that increase in revenue in any of those accounts. So number 1 and the pillar 1 is deliverability. And so this is obviously going to come first because Alex Hormozy himself could be writing your emails. But if no one sees them, or if they deliver in spam, no one is going to read them anyway. So to make this quite simple, actually, there's really only 5 key things that you want to focus in on the deliverability side. First is regular list cleaning. So you want to be sunsetting any unengaged accounts. Here is a sample segment that we've set up. But basically what you want in Klaviyo is you want, once someone actually fulfills this definition, you want to send them into a flow that automatically sunsets them and updates the profile property inside of Klaviyo. You don't want to be sending to them needlessly. Number 2 is you want to be excluding bounced emails and any unengaged subscribers from your brand through basically all of your comms. Again, these are sample segments that we've set up, but basically if someone has received 45, 50, 60 emails from your brand, but they haven't opened anything or engaged at all with you in the past 6 months, they're probably not going to spend much time looking at your content in the future anyway. So you may as well cut them out and it will actually do a big boost to your deliverability as well. You want to be doing regular spam tests. And so we use Glock Apps. It is a paid app. And this is a little sample here, but you can see that just by one small tweak, we actually improved this client's deliverability by up to 12% and landed much better inside of Gmail and Hotmail. There are a lot of free tools out there on the internet. Gmail is one that we used to use a lot, and it's honestly still pretty good. Next, you want to have all your flow emails as 50/50 HTML built inside of Klaviyo and images. If you are sending a campaign, you can get away with sending more images, but for your flow emails, you definitely want to make sure that they're at least 50/50 HTML to images. And lastly, you actually just want to send content people want to see, right? If you're constantly shilling discounts, 20, 30% off, and that's all you ever send, and those are all your marketing comms ever, no one cares, right? So you want to make sure that you're actually sending things people care about, and you'll know if they care about it if you're hitting these gold standard metrics of 50% plus open rates and over 1% click-through rate on your campaigns. So now getting into some of the fun stuff. Pillar number 2 is your opt-ins. And so here's how focusing on this one metric can actually impact your email revenue. And to really drive this point home, I'm using a live example from a current client. So your welcome series email number 1, it's always going to be your highest performing email. It's always going to generate the most revenue. And so with this email, you can see the 30-day stats of 1,000 deliveries, 15% place order rate, and $10,000 in revenue. Now to keep the numbers simple, we are just going to assume that this pop-in got 20,000 views in a month, which is quite standard given 1,000 views per day for an e-com store. You would expect about 20,000 views on your pop-up. So this pop-in at this time had about a 5% opt-in rate, which would equal to about 1,000 submissions, which with a 15% place order rate, we have about 10.2 grand in revenue. And so by changing nothing else, exact same email, exact same subject line, everything else, by simply doubling the opt-in rate, we now have 2,000 submissions, and with the same placed order rate, we should actually have double the revenue. Except for this brand, we actually did a little bit better. So you can see here that for this brand, we had about a 13.17% submission rate throughout this whole year. So for the past 3, 4, however many months. And that has actually spilled over to these emails where you can see the before, where we had about 10 grand in placed order revenue with 1,000 deliveries. And now you can see here, we have very consistent numbers, 14% place order rate. And now we have 45 grand in email revenue on this first email. So just by literally focusing on this metric, you can actually just boost your revenue by quite a lot. Okay, so again, your welcome flow email one, it's always going to be highest generating email. The offer, this is what's going to have the biggest impact on opt-in rate. And our strongest performing offer historically is always been a gift with purchase. This is what we used in this example, but there's just so many benefits for your brand if you can actually do it. You get a stronger contribution margin. Your customers feel like they're getting more value because it might cost you $4 or $5 to fulfill, but the product might be worth $20. And again, it is cheaper for you to fulfill over a dollar amount or percentage off. Some other offers you can try, again, dollar off, percentage off, or you can do like a free PDF, or you can do some sort of lead magnet. They also work. Okay, so pillar number 3, campaign frequency. So if you're a brand doing over 60K per month, you need to be sending at least 2 to 4 campaigns per week. You're not going to be spammy. You're not going to be annoying. And the simple reason for that is because of this little study here, which is quite funny. So in 2007, you've probably heard this somewhere, but there was a survey done on about 4,000 people. And they found that in 2007, before smartphones, before the digital era, the average person already saw about 5,000 advertisements per day. 5,000. And so like, can you imagine today on your phone, when you're walking down your supermarket and there's TVs, you're probably seeing 10,000 ads per day, if not more. So in today's day and age, the strongest marketing tactic is just simply staying top of mind. So if you're sending interesting content that your audience actually cares about, and this requires a deep understanding of your audience, but let's say you're actually talking to things that they care about, your customers are going to want to hear from you. They're going to expect to hear from you, and they're going to enjoy doing so. So you can see here as well, with this pillar of campaign frequency, 3 months before working with us, this client was doing about $33,000 in revenue. And 3 months after working with us, they are now at just under $123,000 in revenue. So we basically made them an additional $89,980 in 3 months for this brand without actually them lifting a single finger. And the only thing we did for them is send 3 campaigns per week. That's it. So pillar number 4, range. This literally is just how many people are you sending to. So how far can you push the boats without your campaign metrics suffering? And so if you remember from earlier, the gold standard that we shoot for is 50% opens and 1% plus click-through rate. This actually also ties in very closely with your list growth, because the higher your opt-ins, the more your range naturally is going to grow. And so this is a really good example here of one that we set up for a client where with the 90-day engaged, we were actually very happy with the performance. But what we wanted to do was we wanted to try to push out the boats a little bit, go to 120-day engaged. And you can see here we added 8,000 people purely off of that change. Okay, so what is next for you? Basically, there's 4 key things that you want to do, which is number 1, you want to figure out how to actually improve your deliverability. You want to know what your deliverability benchmark is, and you want to set a plan to improve on that. Number 2, you want to double your opt-in rate by A/B testing pop-up offers. So we've discussed our favorite is a gift with purchase. If you can do that for your brand, give it a go, might work out. If not, split test dollar values, split test percentage off values, see what is going to make sense for your brand. From there, you want to figure out how to send 2 to 4 times per week without actually knowing your subscribers. And then finally, you want to send to more people without lowering campaign metrics. So I hope that helps. And if you do need more help on this, what I'd recommend first is just to follow me on Twitter. I am RamoFlow. Link is in the description. You can also join our newsletter and receive a free segmentation guide. From there, you also receive 3 emails on our exact strategies around pop-ups, around segmentations, around campaigns, and you get first access to exclusive content on real things in real time that we are using on current client accounts to improve their metrics. And finally, if you think we can help, book a call with us on our website to see if we can. If not, we have a whole list of trusted partners that might be able to help you. Again, hope this helps, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.